the world. And 2 others,
I'm
mystery guests.
I'm trying to guess who that could be.
Yeah, I think it's 16 Junos. It might be more.
Oh, it's got to be the guy from the Tears Are Not Enough composer guy from the West Coast. He probably
No, not David Foster.
Not David Foster.
This guy's got more than David Foster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hebsy, that's a great trivia.
Yeah, I'll have more. I'll have the story next week, I guess. But that's pretty exciting
and
stuff.
You know this. You know this person personally?
Yeah, I can probably get him on your show. He's quite reticent actually to talk, but I'll talk him up today. Wow. He's got some really good connections. The other guy is Kenny Robinson, who I ran into yesterday.
Yeah,
you know Kenny Robinson, eh?
Comedy legend, absolutely.
Legend. Yeah. So I do a thing for Bill King for his show on the weekends on what's the University of Toronto station?
CKLN.
No,
CIUT.
CIUT.
Yeah.
So he does an afternoon show, and I'm one of the segments. We just talk sports for like 10 minutes or whatever. And his place is right around the corner from my house. So I go there once a week and sit in his basement, and we do 10 minutes or whatever. So the other day, Kenny Robinson's just finishing up. He's coming out of the studio. And, hey, it was great. Great little meeting. Funny.
I can't wait to find out who this Juno winner is. Wow. I got.
We're live on the red carpet.
Yeah, we're live. I'm going to tweet at you, and we are live.
Oh, yeah, you tweeted me. Hey, hi, everybody. Exciting Friday today. I was just mentioning to Mike before we started the show, or did they get to hear it, that I'm golfing today with, I believe, the person that has more Juno awards than anyone else.
Anne Murray.
Several categories.
Anne Murray.
Several categories. Performing, producing. Are there other categories besides performing and producing? Writing.
There's other things, yeah.
He writes too. Anyway, that's who I'm golfing with today. And we got a really busy show because there's lots of stuff going on. It's going to be a tight 1-hour show, and we're going to leave you wanting more. And any rumors, any possible trades, personnel moves, etc., that might be going on, we'll talk about that as well. Let us know what you want to talk about. The beauty of this show is it's interactive and live. So get on the horn, get in the chat there. Mike will go over all the comments and deem which ones are worth getting on the air.
Oh yeah, we had that one troublemaker last week.
Yeah, we had that guy. We had
didn't like your saying people should get vaccinated bothered that person. So I don't know. Maybe he's in that 10%.
Yeah, but I think you have to understand that this show is about opinion.
And do people expect
to agree with every single thing that the person says?
Imagine how boring this show would be if you just read the results or reported what happened. This is Hebsy on sports. Quite literally, it's Mark Hebscher's take on sports with a Toronto-centric approach. That's quite literally what this show is. We'd have it no other way.
Well, an alternative to what's available on terrestrial radio and television.
Right. Now,
they're not telling you anything that you don't know already for the most part.
Who won or lost. Now you want to hear what Hebsy thinks.
Now I need to go a little deeper than that. Yeah. What the heck's going on? We're curious. We're a curious lot.
Hebsy, man, you need to retweet the tweet I tweeted at you. And I'm just going to answer a question. Dr. Hockey asked if we were watching opening ceremonies. And I'm just going to tell you, yes. So my wife and I got up early. And I only left it to do Hebsy on sports. But I was watching the opening ceremonies. Yes, I was.
Yeah, well, you were the only one.
Maybe, but
no, you weren't the only one. I never thought it was a big deal anyway.
It's on Gem, by the way. For those because I was watching on TV and I saw they were cutting off the bottom because of some crawl thing. It's quite nice on CBC Gem. So everybody gets that.
What's that?
I actually watch a lot of stuff on CBC.
Where do you get that?
Google it, and then you can Chromecast.
No. Where do you get CBC Gem? On your TV?
No, it would be like a Netflix equivalent, except it's free for us Canadians. So it's got great shit on there, man. Where? I watch the Kim's Convenience when they fall out. I do them on CBC Gem right away.
You're not answering my question.
Where? I don't know. You Google CBC Gem. Quite literally, it's a web page. You can get it on your mobile device or on your laptop. It's a web page, a website, CBC Gem, and then you can stream from there. And then once you stream,
they're doing a good job promoting it. I got to tell you. Because I think I'm like most people. When I get up in the morning, the Olympics are already over,
right?
And I go my day. I don't know what time Scott Russell or Andy Petrillo or any of those guys are
Adrian
on.
Arsenault is on there. Yeah.
Let me know when there's a gold medal to be won, and I'm interested.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to let you know that, it's on TV, but it is also on CBC Gem for those who are mobile and just want to stream it.
You got a deal with CBC Gem going here, Mike?
I just
Okay.
they have good programming.
Is that a CBC Gem t-shirt you got on there?
No, I'm not in their pocket, unfortunately.
Oh, my
I wish I was.
goodness.
Okay, did you tweet that, Mr. Hebsy?
Yeah, didn't I?
Just going to verify here. Yeah, it says, please join us. You're very polite today. Hey, am I allowed to ask you, am I allowed at some point during this tight hour, can I ask you about Hazelgate?
You can ask me about anything you want.
I need to
anything you want.
Discuss Hazelgate with you when we get to the Blue Jays.
Sure, no problem. I got no issues with that at all.
No. Well, you manned up and did the right thing, so I just want to talk about it.
Oh yeah, it was funny too, because you see, that's another reason when you're drunk or high, you really shouldn't get on social media if you're in a position like me. That means you just shouldn't do it. But what happens is, depending on who you're with and their interaction in social media, it's almost as if how do I say this? Let's say you're sitting around when you're watching a game with your buds. Something happens.
Yeah.
You had predicted it. It happened. It didn't happen. And now you go on social media and go, yeah, man, I was right or I was wrong with your buds. Even though you're sitting in the same room with them, you're going back and forth on Twitter.
Right.
Happens.
Right.
And then something happens. You go, oh shit. I locked that one up. What was I thinking? You just go on this blind thing like, no, I'm right. And that's the way it is. And then, eventually you get caught with your pants down. You go, okay, I was wrong.
Exposed.
And of course, the hardest thing in the world to do is to say you're wrong after you were adamant that you were right.
It was quite the moment, so I can't wait to get to that. Okay, so
you can bring that up when you want to. Let's go with the show. What do you think?
Let's go, because you got golf. So
are we good? No. Don't even put that into my head or anything else.
Well, you put it in my head. You said tight hour. We haven't had maybe once in a while. Well, this will be a tight hour.
By the way,
yeah,
this is Hebsy on Sports 242 for real. Okay?
I know. I fucked up last
week.
The
one that said 242 last week, it was one of those numbers things. Mike just had too many numbers in his head. Between his number of podcasts, okay, and my number of podcasts, which is well over 1,000.
Yeah.
It starts to become a numbers game, and it shouldn't be that way. Okay,
I was only off by one in my defense. I was only off by one.
It's cool. It's all good.
Okay.
All right, giddy up.
Let's do this. Okay, Hebsy, recording in 5, 4, 3.
The following podcast is proudly sponsored by Crosswinds Golf and Country Club in Burlington. What makes Crosswinds such a great golf facility? I've been wondering that myself, and I've come up with this answer. It's the people. The folks at Crosswinds want to make sure that you have the time of your life when you visit them. Not just a nice round of golf, in and out, change your shoes in the parking lot, get in there, don't see anybody, off you go, play golf, no human contact. No. They don't want that. They want you to enjoy the $1 million views of the Niagara Escarpment. They want you to enjoy the friendly and helpful staff. And I mean helpful. So what are you waiting for? Go see why Crosswinds has been voted Burlington's best golf course for 14 consecutive years. It's just 45 minutes from downtown Toronto. And it's also a fabulous banquet facility. And we'll be hosting weddings and other events very shortly as we get back to normal. So go to crosswindsgolf.com, book your tee time today, and make sure you tell them that Hebsy sent you. Now, Mike, let's start the podcast. Welcome to Hebsy on Sports, episode number 242. For real. It's the opening ceremonies. Hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Episode 242, don't be fooled by imitations. This is our first Olympic podcast. Okay? I'm Mark Hebscher in Tokyo, Japan. Mike is there, and it looks like his home studio, but he's in Osaka.
Right, this green screen behind me.
Yeah, that's exactly. No, we're not. We're like most people. We're not in Tokyo, and I don't even know what time it is, and frankly, I don't care. Okay, we might get into it today. We might not. There really isn't that much happening when it comes to sports there. But here's what I want to discuss today. Zach Hyman. Is he gone? Is that it? There's no way he's going to be a Maple Leaf? This Toronto boy, this guy who dreamed of playing for the Maple Leafs, that's just it? He's going to pack up and go to Edmonton? I mean, of all places, Edmonton. I mean, if you said to me New York or Los Angeles, Chicago, yeah, but Edmonton? Who's looking forward to going to Edmonton? For 8 years? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And I'm going to tell you why I think he might just find a way to stay in his hometown. I know it sounds crazy. I know everybody wants to leave town and go work somewhere else for more money. But some people want to stay. It's not about the money. Get into that later. The Blue Jays may be on their way to Toronto, but by then it could be too late, as the Rays made a big deal and the Yankees and Red Sox are charging hard. Will the Blue Jays pull the trigger on a trade or two? Or are they going to sort of just say, yeah, we want to improve, and they're going to maintain the course, and maybe in 2022. Did I just say that twice? 2022. All right, the NFL has taken a hard stance with regards to vaccinated players, and punishments will be severe if a game has to be postponed due to COVID. I expect other leagues will follow suit. They'd better. And we're in the midst of an incredible sea change in sports. College athletics has changed forever. College athletes will now be able to make money off their name and likeness, and at the same time, sports gambling is exploding like it's the 4th of July. Do you know that a player in football could make more money in one day than you'd be able to make in 10 years working part-time at the grocery store because you were an amateur? Are you kidding me? These kids are going to be wealthy while they're still in college, and they'll be gambling because you can. The over-under, what numbers are you going to be wearing? Oh, my God. Incredible stuff. Sports gambling. It's exploding like it's the 4th of July or the May 2-4 weekend, whichever you prefer. And finally, changes at the fan radio. Yeah. Joey Vendetta officially out, and he can thank some of his ex-colleagues at Sportsnet for piling on, for making him walk the plank, for publicly shaming him on social media. We'll get into that, but first, let's see how Toronto Mike is doing, and specifically, how are your balls?
I use the Lawnmower 4.0. Others should do as well. Go to manscaped.com and use the promo code Hebsy, Hebsy. You get 20% off and free shipping, and it supports the program, keeps Hebsy on Sports going live every Friday morning. Do it for Hebsy, man.
That's right. You don't want me going to Edmonton and doing a show about Edmonton sports, do you? You don't want that. No Leaf talk, just Oilers.
Was it Chris Pronger's wife who was hated Edmonton and wanted out? Was it?
Yep.
That? Yeah.
Yeah, she went public with it.
Right.
You've just got to be careful.
You know, my wife's from Edmonton. I don't know if I mentioned that. Shout out to Edmonton.
I thought it was Grand Prairie.
No. Where's that? You know, it's Jay Onrait's from Athabasca. I think that's just outside of Edmonton. So,
is that right?
Something like that. But how you doing,
I've
Hebsy?
been to Edmonton before. It's a lovely, lovely place to be in the summertime. It is beautiful. Well, but only for a couple of months.
I agree with you. I've been there in the summer too, and it was fantastic. But, it was nice weather. I don't know how fantastic it was. But I enjoyed myself. I want an Otis update, but very, very quickly, Hebsy, man. I'm just going to shout out the people who come to our YouTube page. Go to Mark Hebscher's YouTube page every Friday morning at 9:20. We're live, and we engage with the people who are live here. Dr. Hockey says hello. Mike Kerr. Gordon Kennedy says, Hebsy and Mike, this podcast makes my Friday. And he wants to know if we're going to discuss the NFL COVID rules, which we are. Wayne Brown, he's checking in from Lethbridge, Alberta. I don't know where that is compared to...
Lethbridge, Alberta is in southern Alberta.
Southern Alberta. Okay. Okay. Brian,
closer to the United States than Edmonton or Calgary.
Gotcha. Brian Gerstein is here live. Hello, Brian. KM is here. He says he's ready for Hebsy's fire, and he used a fire emoji. Paul Hawkyard, Steve Green, Moose Grumpy, Daniel Finkler. There's a whole whack of great Hebsy fans here live, and we welcome more, so everybody should join us on Friday morning.
Appreciate them.
Give us
they've all checked out manscaped.com.
Right. Manscaped with a D.
And played golf at Crosswinds, or are considering.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell them that Hebsy sent you. That's how you can support the show. I need an Otis update because I know Gene Velitis only tunes in for Otis updates. Right. So what do you got on Otis?
So when I first got Otis, I found out that he was very adaptable when it came to being outside. He wanted to be outside, but he was okay having a collar and a harness on. So at first I would take him out into the backyard and just sort of put the harness and the collar on him. And then he would have, however long, 20 feet of rope or whatever to check out certain things. And then after a while, I would take him for a walk on the leash. And he'd be just like a dog. I mean, he'd stop for a while and sniff a few things and check out the ground. And there'd be a bird running and he'd want to take off after the bird, a bird flying. And so he was used to this. And then when I turned him over, when I allowed him to be adopted,
right, gave him up
by my friends and neighbors, Ben and Ashley, I said to them, here's all of his stuff. And he likes being on the leash. So yesterday morning, I'm sitting out having my coffee, and what do I see? I see Ben, and he's walking Otis. Like you'd walk the dog. You take the dog for a walk in the morning, right? And then back inside he goes. He can't be outside. So you're in the city here. And then later on, dog's got to go out for a walk. Okay, let's go for a walk. And then in the evening, after dinner, whatever, dog's got to go for a walk. This is the routine that they want to do with Otis.
Right.
So to sit there and to see your ex-cat, but now your neighbor, being walked on a leash is it's so much fun. So enjoyable, like one of your children. Look at him. He looks good. He's happy. I'm so happy for him, right? And this, you're proud that you were able to teach him to walk on a leash.
Yeah, that's got to feel good.
I taught him that. Like that was part of his development. You're going to learn to be okay on a leash. I don't think you can do that with too many cats.
I don't know of any who can do that.
And they're not going to want to go walking on the streets.
No.
But this cat does. So it's cool.
That's very good. I love
he's healthy and happy, and he looks really good.
I love the Otis updates. Absolutely. Keep them coming.
So he's doing well. And it's good to see his development. Now, we got any questions from the crowd?
Well, yeah, there's a question about they're hoping you talk about NFL COVID
Let's
rules.
go.
Let's do it. NFL time.
Okay, here's the story. The NFL has informed its member clubs that if a game cannot be rescheduled during the 18-week NFL season coming up due to a COVID outbreak among unvaccinated players, the team with the outbreak will forfeit the game, be credited with a loss. That's for playoff seeding purposes. But the team will also incur all costs related to the forfeit.
Wow.
And the players on both teams will have to forfeit their pay. But the team with the outbreak is going to have to pay the other team's expenses, which will include, apparently, lost salaries.
Wow.
So not only do you forfeit the game, but now you're paying the salaries of the other team.
Wow.
And you're going to pay all whatever other expenses that were incurred. Travel expenses, hotel expenses, all that type of stuff. That's the responsibility of the team that has the outbreak.
Now, the key here, though, is that it's amongst unvaccinated players, right? So this is all a move to get the players vaccinated.
Correct.
Smart.
And right now, the NFL's at about a 78% vaccination rate. However, the anti-vaxxers are very vocal. For example, Cole Beasley of the Buffalo Bills is a staunch anti-vaxxer and basically is going at it with people, thousands of them on Twitter.
So weird.
And they're kind of going, look, man, you're not, if you, God forbid, if something happens to the Buffalo Bills and they trace it back to you, okay, you're fucked. You've just fucked your team out of a win, taken money out of the players' pockets, all that aggravation because you're a selfish SOB. Now, that's the way some people are going to look at it. I'm one of those people, okay? I think I've been pretty consistent in what I've been saying. Here's a guy that's all over social media saying, well, I'm considering, one of the players, I think he deleted his tweet, had basically said, I'm considering retiring rather than having to, be told that I have to vaccinate and it's going to cost my teammates and kind of thing like that. Hey, buddy, don't you get it? You're in the minority here. And the people that are getting sick are the ones that are unvaccinated.
Right.
So we can't have you doing this. And so the NFL can't stop it. They can't force players to be vaccinated, but they can make teams incur huge fines.
Wow.
Huge fines and big problems and bad PR. It doesn't look good for the Buffalo Bills, for example.
Right.
If the majority of their fans, their followers, and their players are vaccinated, and here's these ones that aren't, that are saying, well, I'm not going to get vaccinated.
So
guess what, buddy?
What's your take, Hebsy, on this NFL decision? Like, what do you think of these rules?
Oh, this is a brilliant move, and it had to be done. You cannot be like by now we should be past this disease in that we should have all protocols in place, everyone on board the same way. You can't have some people saying, no, I'm going to still play. Remember back when Djokovic was having parties and stuff, and you're going, oh my
Sure.
God, he's not vaccinated. And
Right.
what's going on? And for all I know, he got sick, but he's in such great shape that he might have gotten COVID and he took a couple of weeks off or whatever and had
Right.
mild symptoms. Who knows? But by this point, professional sports leagues should be able to plow forward. And when you've got legalized gambling going on, and now one day there's 6 New York Yankees who can't play a game that's on the board for gamblers. 6 of them have got COVID. Suddenly you're like, holy shit, I bet the Yankees. Like, can you imagine? You had a bet going on the Yankees back in the day. And, oh, by the way, Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, Lou Gehrig, they didn't all play together. They've all got COVID.
Right.
Too bad about your bet. So there's all these things. But so the NFL is basically saying we can't have this happening. We cannot, number one, we can't afford to have a game canceled. We can't.
Right.
It's a 17-game schedule. They're going to cram it into 18 weeks. Right? If the game can be replayed during the bye week or something can be done, fine. But if that game can't be replayed that season, then the team that caused it is paying big. And it could make the difference between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs and
Sure.
all that shit. So
Sure.
good on the NFL. And other leagues have now got to follow suit. They have to say, look, for the safety of everyone, if you're not vaccinated, you can't come. Just like in Canada,
Mhm.
you can bring these sports teams up here, but
Right.
they have to be fully vaccinated.
Right, and I'm just checking in here. I see Gordon Enright says he thinks it's a great move. He says, the Bills should probably cut Baisley, but he says he does love his play. Will Chan, so Paul Hawkyard says he loves the new rule. He says the Steelers got screwed a number of times last year. Brian Gerstein says, glad they fixed it. He says it was broken last year. But yeah.
But this is the NFL. I mean, good on the NFL for being the leaders here because they've usually been the followers, and it's taken them a long time to kind of get in lockstep.
Right.
I mean, ever since the Colin Kaepernick situation, well, even before that.
Sure.
So the NFL is taking the lead here. They don't want their season to get fucked up by COVID, right? By then, by that point, we should be done. By Christmas time, there should be no discussion of it. So certainly during the NFL season, the last thing you want to be worried about, especially with all the betting that goes on. Can you imagine? Well, I heard there's a rumor that Roethlisberger's got COVID. What the fuck? You can't have that. Well, we know that so-and-so is unvaccinated. That's the other thing.
Right.
We now know the sexual orientation and the vaccination position of everybody.
Well, that's not
We know
true.
that guy there. He's straight and he's vaccinated. That guy there, he's gay. He's vaccinated. Okay, that woman there, she's gay. She only had 1 dose. That one there, I'm not sure they're androgynous, but I can tell you right now they're an anti-vaxxer. There's a mother over there. She's the same. See, you're taking all these people, the same ones, the what's her name from The View, the ones who were anti-vaxxers before there was, this crisis.
Yeah, I know you're talking
any kind
about
of vaccine.
the one who married the New Kids on the Block.
Jenny
guy.
McCarthy,
yes,
right?
married Donnie Wahlberg from New Kids on the Block.
Idiots.
Right, I know. And yeah, that was because of that denounced study that some goofball wrote about tying autism to vaccinations, and then Oprah gave her quite the forum to spread that misinformation.
These people have platforms too.
That's
people believe them.
That's the thing.
It's scary.
Although in Canada, I think only like 10% of this country is like anti-vax, which is a big number, but it's still 1 in 10. Like 9 out of 10 people are sensible and getting vaccinated when they can.
It's a big fight.
Yeah, it's
a big fight. It's like a political fight. Like if you're an anti-vaxxer, you're a Trump supporter, right? Is that pretty much the way?
There's a Venn diagram there.
You think like a
right.
I'm okay. My rights. I don't have to be vaccinated.
A lot of overlap there.
I could see your parents back in the day when the polio vaccine came. No, I don't want that.
Right.
I'd like to be crippled. And
the funny thing is, a lot of these people who are anti-vaxxers like happily get their kids the rubella, measles, mumps thing. That they don't even have. It's just such a hypocrisy.
Anyway, so trying to put that aside, let's hope that all sports, okay, every sports league, especially the important ones, the professional leagues that should follow the lead of the NFL, and they should make it mandatory that you can't come unless you're vaccinated. You just can't. So NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, which will probably be the toughest one. Okay, some of those hicks.
So Hebsy, I don't know if this.
I'm not going to get vaccinated. Do you think if you took a poll of Blue Jay players, and I was just to say, I don't know, for fun, which ones do you think are unvaccinated? Would you look at them differently if you knew for sure that they weren't vaccinated?
Yeah, the same way we look at these players differently when we find out they're Trump supporters. Right? Because we do, right? I feel like we look at once. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but when some athlete comes out as I hope Trump wins the 2020 election or whatever, it definitely you knock them down a peg in terms of like what are they thinking? Where's their mind at? What's their values? And yeah, for sure, it affects your thoughts on them.
Yeah, we know too much about people.
Yeah, but Hebsy, I'm going to correct you on something because we only know what people disclose, right? How many gay players in the NFL but are just keeping themselves in the closet because we don't know the sexual orientation of all these players because the vast majority of homosexual players are simply not sharing that information right now.
Yep, I'll agree with that. Okay, so that's the story. The NFL does good, and let's hope they don't have to enforce that. Let's hope that people come to their senses and the environment is clean. I can also believe that if they're in a locker room with 40 or 50 guys and the ones that aren't vaccinated, you're not going to get so close to that guy. No. Right. You're a defensive lineman and the guy you're coming up against, the offensive guard, hasn't been vaccinated.
Right.
Oh, man, I don't know. I might knock him out on the first play. Just get a 15-yard penalty. Just knock him cold. Get him out of the game. Anyway. Well, let's talk some baseball now, shall we?
Yeah, let's talk Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays had the night off heading into their weekend series with the Mets at Citi Field, and they caught a break as the Red Sox edged the Yankees last night. But the task at hand is going to be a difficult one for Toronto. They're going to have to make changes. They're going to have to add key players, not role players, key players, starting pitcher for sure. Ace in the bullpen, definitely. Hitting they got. Base running, I'm not so sure. Defense, I don't know. But, man, go get me one stud starting pitcher, to throw in there with Ryu and Robbie Ray, and get me a Craig Kimbrell. Get me a fireballing relief pitcher. I'm not sure Jordan Romano's the guy. Anyway, here's the deal with the Jays. They're 48-44. They're half game back of the Yankees, so they're in fourth place in their division. But they got 3 games in hand on the Yanks. And they're 5 games out of a wild card spot, but they got to climb over 4 teams to get there. And meanwhile, one of the teams they're chasing, the Rays, they want to win the division. They're only a game behind Boston. So yesterday they go and get slugger Nelson Cruz from Minnesota. Now that's a guy I had mentioned. I wasn't the only one. But I said, man, if you put that bat in that lineup as your everyday DH, holy cow.
Right.
Murderer's row. Think about it.
Ouch.
Anyway, Tampa made the move, couple of minor leaguers to get Nelson Cruz, who's like 40 years old, 41. But hey, all he is a bat. That's what they want. And it gives them an opportunity to make a run at Boston. A lot of trade activity is going to happen prior to the deadline next week. A lot. And the Jays had better be in the mix, and I mean big time. Look, this squad here went out and got Ryu a couple years ago. Surprised the hell out of us. Last year, Springer shocked us, right? What are they going to do now to shock us? We're going to shock the world. We're going to get Max Scherzer, and we're going to get Craig Kimbrell. Woo! And we're going to win the division. We're going to overtake Tampa and the Yankees and Boston. We're going to win this effing division, and we're going all the way. Okay? Couple of rentals, I'm okay with that. Okay? I remember David Cohn. Remember David Price. Remember Tulowitzki. Okay, that was an interesting deal. It kind of worked out.
It was exciting as hell, though.
It sure was. That's it. That's what you want, right? You're coming back to the Dome. Let's get some excitement.
Right.
And by the way, Mike.
Yeah.
I have an opportunity to buy tickets for a Jays game next week. Mm-hmm. Not the first weekend but the following week, during the week, against Cleveland. But the tickets are $70 each. And they're not great seats. They're only opening up the lower bowl. And so they're down the right field line. And man, $70 a ticket. And I got to wear my mask for the whole game, unless I'm eating or drinking. And
right.
That's going to be an issue too.
Hebsy, I was at BMO Field the other day amongst 15,000 people wearing a mask watching TFC. I would tell you to spend that $70 because you only live once. You'd have a blast.
It's 140, by the way.
Oh, you need 2 tickets. See, I'm doing the math.
Well, you went by yourself.
I was gifted a ticket. So I did. I went with somebody, but yeah.
What were the tickets going for?
I actually have no idea because this is a season's in the supporters section. A season's ticket holder gave me his extra ticket. So yeah,
well, I don't have that luxury. I would pay for.
I think when you're Mark Hebsy, you don't have to pay for a ticket. You just
Yeah, no, that never. You know what? That never worked. It never worked that way. It didn't.
Okay. It
did not work that way. Certainly not with the Blue Jays. Not with the Leafs. Not with the Raptors. Nobody's giving you tickets.
Richard Griffin's online too.
If you're actually covering
Mr. Griffin, I got Mr. Hebsy on phone. No,
look, I've known Rich Griffin for a long time since he was with the Expos, man.
Right.
But he doesn't have tickets in his pocket. Maybe back in the day when you couldn't fill the place, they had guys had wads. Here you go.
Well, that's true because you could probably get Argos tickets.
Yeah, you could, but not back in their heyday.
No, not in the heyday.
You could not get a ticket. I remember driving hours to be able to watch an Argos game on TV because they were blacked out in Toronto. I remember driving up to Parry Sound outside the 100-mile radius or 75-mile area to watch the Argos. Argos Hamilton, you could never see Argos Hamilton. They were blacked out in Hamilton and blacked out when they played in Toronto. It was ridiculous.
So stupid too.
You have to go to Peterborough. You had to know somebody that had the Peterborough could get the Peterborough station on their antenna, on their rotor antenna, so you could watch the game out of Peterborough, which was outside the 75-mile limit. It was so stupid.
Yeah, anyway, so dumb. But I would say I wouldn't pay. I personally would not pay the $140 to see the Blue Jays right now.
No, I don't think I am. Okay. I'm going to wait. I want to go to a game and not have to wear my mask. And I want a better value. I think. All
right, but that's next season then, because you're going to
only get 15,000 in there.
Then you're not going till 2022.
Oh, I'm going to spring training 2022.
Woo!
I'll be at the first game at spring training.
Amazing.
And the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, probably the first 10 games of spring training.
And now that we can do this remote, since pandemic made us do this remote, you could be anywhere in the world.
Exactly right. And I'll tell you so. And believe me, I'll be your correspondent down there.
Yes.
I'm not just going to be fucking around going to the beach and golfing. I'll be down there. I'll be watching all the games. I'll be going to the back fields if I can.
Amazing.
If I can get it. I'm not really looking for accreditation. I'm there on holidays.
Sure.
But, part of the enjoyment of a holiday is being able to see the Jays in a more relaxed atmosphere.
And hang out with Keegan Matheson. Hang out with Keegan.
Yeah. Maybe. You never know. Anyway, so here's what's going on.
Yeah.
A lot of trade activity coming because if the Rays made a move, then the Red Sox are going to make a move. The Yankees are going to want to make a move. The Jays are going to want to make a move. So they say they got to chase the Yankees, the Rays, and the Red Sox in their own division, but they also have to worry about Oakland, Seattle, and Cleveland in the wild card race. So there's going to be nights where two of those teams are going to be playing each other, and you're going to be, oh, come on, Seattle. And the next night it's going to be, oh, come on, Cleveland. Or you want Oakland to lose. It's just going to be nuts. So scoreboard watching, which is an expression that's going to go by the way of the dodo bird because it's not scoreboard. But the idea of, what's going on the out-of-town scoreboard, how are the other teams doing, is part of the excitement of being in a race.
Yes.
So go ahead, Jays, baby. Go all in. Go get Scherzer. Go get Kimbrel. Even you'll have them for 2 years, this year and next, I think, the way the contracts are set up. And go for it, man. I mean, you can't expect Vladdy to hit 330 for the whole season. As great as he is, it's a 162-game season. It's a long year, especially if you're playing first base almost every day. Right? So, let's say Vladdy hits 320 this year. Right? Springer. We need Springer to start doing something now. Right now. Okay? You got the Mets. You're in New York. The Mets lead the National League East. They're a good team. My worry this weekend is that Charlie Montoyo isn't a good enough manager to take this team to victory in a National League park. Things have got to go well for him. The moves have got to go well. His starting pitcher, Steven Matz, the former Met, is going to want to prove to his old team that they shouldn't have got rid of him. He's under the gun, but also he's going to have to hit because the game's in a National League park, so the DH is out of play. That's a big hole in the Jays lineup there. Steven Matz is going to hit. That means that Montoyo is going to have to figure out, when do I pull this guy? Can he go more than a couple of innings? He hasn't been able to lately. What do I do with my bullpen? Especially on the first night of a 3-game series. And is Jordan Romano my guy? Does he have what it takes to close down games if the Jays have the lead? Last couple of times they put him in there, he hasn't looked so good. Mind you, he's not in a 1-run game. He was in like a 3-run game or a 4-run game. He hadn't pitched in a week. All-star, all that stuff. So I don't know. Jays starters have got to eat up innings. Matz tonight. Dude, you got to go 6. Okay, none of this 4th inning getting pulled or 3rd inning. Tomorrow, Ryu, expect a bounce back from him. And Stripling on Sunday, that's the big one. That's the big question mark. The big question mark. Because not only does he get one out only and gets chased, then after the game, he's like, oh, I'm going to miss my family. And it's hard for me. I have a kid that I won't see in a while. Wham! I never heard anybody else complain. The whole time the Jays were never in Toronto. Now, one complaint did I hear from this team, this nomadic team. No home. Where are we going? Unsure. And still playing competitive, exciting baseball. And then we get this guy here, this chicken strip. I'm going to miss my kids. You don't know how hard it is. How many millions do you make, buddy? Right. Shut the fuck up. And you'd better throw a complete game on Sunday against the Mets. And a shutout. You better throw a fucking no-hitter. My God. Nobody else on the team. No, I didn't hear anyone else complain. They got kids. I didn't hear Simeon complain. Not a word. Stripling, you don't know how hard it is to go out there and pitch a baseball game when you've got a child at home that you're not going to see for 6 weeks. Fucking surprised he doesn't break down on the mound and fucking throw up. Jeez, Ross Stripling. You know what he needs? He needs somebody to hit a comebacker. Right at his you-know-what. Right in the Fisneris. Take one of those, buddy. What's with this team?
Chicken Strip? Is that the name you're calling Ross Stripling? Chicken Strip?
That's his nickname.
I love it. Strips. That was fire.
Because he's going to have to face Brandon Nimmo. He's going to have to face Pete Alonso. Okay? And remember, these guys, these pitchers that we have that are prone to giving up home runs, Pete Alonso. This guy can fucking hit him out of the... And Jonathan VR is playing pretty well for them. We had him. And we don't get Stroman. We're lucky. We're lucky because Stroman pitched a gem the other day. We're like, we don't see him this weekend, thank God. You got a team that's 28-14 at home. The Mets at Citi Field. Okay? You're playing without the benefit of a designated hitter. You got a manager that does not have experience managing against National League teams. Okay? And you got a team that can't beat teams above 500. The Jays are 23-32 against teams that are 500 or better. Can we take 2 out of 3 from this team? We need to. We need Springer to have, he's got to go 4 for 4, baby. He's got to hit a couple of home runs, got to win a ball game for us. We need Vladdy to keep doing what he's doing. We need great defense. Not average defense. We need great defense. And we need really smart base running too. Can't afford to be making these mistakes. Let's take 2 out of 3 from the Mets. Let's see what happens. Because after that, it's Fenway Park for 4 games against the Red Sox. And you know what happens there. So hopefully they'll return home on a winning streak to their long-suffering fans in Toronto. By then, let's hope they've made a trade or 2 to improve this team. Can you imagine coming to Toronto a week from today, Mike? Okay, welcome back. And, Scherzer, Kimbrel. That would be awesome.
Start up the hype train. I remember in 2015, it would feel a lot like that, I think. Hey, Hebsy, man, before we leave the Blue Jays segment here,
right.
I follow you on Twitter. Can you tell us what happened with what I'm calling Hazelgate? But you accused Hazel May of faking her presence.
No, I didn't accuse any. No. Here's what I did.
Tell us what happened there.
They never I didn't see the pregame show of the broadcast, or I wouldn't know. I wasn't aware that Hazel was actually in Buffalo. And what I thought was because when they introduced themselves, Dan will say, Buck Martinez is at his home in Florida. Pat Tabler is in Cincinnati. I'm in Toronto. He might mention that once and once only and then never mention it again so that the viewer, can see for themselves or dream for themselves. Let them think that you're at the game. Don't say we're not at the game, right? Don't make a point of saying we're not at the game.
Right.
But there's certain times, as you know, where there's something going on the field. And so what happened was there was an incident, and now I can't remember what it was. And I tweeted out saying, what the heck? Like, what? If we had boots on the ground in Buffalo, we would know what that call was all about. It might have been Montoyo getting kicked out of the game. That might have been it. But anyway, Dan Schulman was going, he didn't know because there wasn't anything on his monitor. Then they had to go find a video, somebody that had taped it. And by that time, I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, this is one of the problems with not having a dedicated radio crew.
Right.
Number 1, at the game. And number 2, just not having anyone there. I was unaware that Hazel was at the game. And I figured if she was at the game, she certainly would have been able to report on what happened. she'd be in the dugout or something like that. I wasn't aware that she was on in the concourse with a studio camera set up there. Not aware. So my initial tweet was, no boots on the ground. What happened with Charlie? Why did he get kicked out?
Okay.
Why are we speculating this? Why isn't there anyone there? Later, there's a shot of Hazel. She's standing there, and in behind her is Salem Field. So it's the wide shot of Salem Field. And I'm looking going, oh, so now they want us to think that Hazel's at the game. And if she was at the game, obviously she would have filled us in as to what happened with Charlie Montoyo.
Right.
So I'm watching the report. There's nothing about Montoyo, nothing about what happened on the field, no inside information as to why he got kicked out. And so naturally, I'm thinking she's standing in the studio in Toronto, and that's a green screen shot of her. And I get it, and then I just tweet out saying, hey, Sportsnet's trying to pull the wool over our eyes by making us think that Hazel May is actually in Buffalo when she's standing in front of a green screen.
Ouch, yeah.
And then people are like, no, Hebsy, she's there. She said, and I'm like, oh, shit, I screwed that one up. Fuck. I apologize, okay, profusely. It was my mistake. I jumped the gun, didn't check my sources, made a mistake, and apologized to Hazel and to Sportsnet for suggesting it. And there you go.
Well, good on you for owning your error and apologizing,
for sure.
Of course.
And because people are going, Hebsy, she was on the pregame show. She was live. She was interviewing Charlie in the dugout with the rain. Like,
poor Hazel, though, Hebsy, because, earlier this year, you were suggesting Hazel should learn Spanish. I feel like...
I did. And I'm not the only one.
Hazel here.
I'm not the only one. There are others that, there are others that feel it would be lovely if we could communicate better, or they could communicate better. We could understand the players that don't speak the language as well, as opposed to just the straight interpreter.
Right.
Anyway.
And it's possible you were under the influence of a certain herb.
Oh, it's not possible. It's a fact.
Well, were you hanging with Bill King? I know that's that's his recreational activity.
Suppose you're 29 years old. You're born and raised in Toronto. Your dream was always to play with the Maple Leafs ever since you were a little kid. And after a long, hard, arduous road, a lot of hard work, disappointments, you're finally realizing that your dream has come true. You are playing for the Maple Leafs. But the team's been disappointing in the playoffs. And now you're in a position to get paid as a free agent. You can go anywhere you want and make more money than you can in Toronto. But you want to stay here. You got a wife, Alana. Her family's also from Toronto. Your young son, Theo, is just getting to know his relatives and is making new friends in Toronto. Your parents live here. Your 4 brothers are here. I think all 4 of them are here. 3 of the 4. Anyway, close enough.
Sure.
You've also got several business ventures based in Toronto. You have a strong brand within the community. Actually, within several communities in Toronto, if you know what I mean. The literary community, the Jewish community, naturally the sports community. He does commercials. And when his hockey career is over, when your hockey career is over, you can do anything you want. You're well educated. You've got money. You can write more books. You can take your gaming company to the next level. You can do whatever you want. Right. But if you want to do it here in Toronto versus Edmonton for 7 or 8 years, what would make you want to go to Edmonton? Is it just the money?
Yeah.
Is it? Well, if you have enough money, is it important to get 35 million? You could still get 25 million and be really happy and stay home. Or you get 35 million and move to Edmonton.
I think it might be 40, but
you could get, hey, Mike, here's your choice.
Like, it's significantly
You're
more.
From Toronto. I know your wife's from Edmonton. Right, but forget that. You're from Toronto. Your family's here. Your kids are here. You go to school here. They got friends here and all that. You can make 25 million here. Do just fine. Live in a nice home.
Right.
You need your kids to be babysat. You got friends. You got family. You got right. But for 40 million, you can go to Edmonton, where you don't know anybody.
Right.
And your family doesn't know anybody. And
those winters suck.
But you can make 40 million instead of 25.
It is a significant difference, though. Yeah,
but family isn't hurting anyway. Not that he would ever need this money. We're talking about Zach Hyman.
Yeah.
The question is this: do you want to stay at home where you're comfortable, playing for a team you dreamed of playing with family, close to family and friends, and familiar players, your buddies, Matthews, Marner, Willie Nylander, your friends. Maybe you win around to the playoffs. Maybe you get to the Stanley Cup final. Maybe you win the whole thing with this team.
Win a playoff
Or
round
maybe
first.
you go to Edmonton and you can win a Stanley Cup with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Maybe.
Right.
But you're going to be away from your family and your friends and everything you love. You're going to make more money, sure, but are you going to be happier? So does Zach Hyman stay with the Leafs, Mike, or is he have to go?
Doesn't it feel like he's already gone? Like, tell me, maybe I'm missing something, but I've already kind of like...
It's a foregone conclusion
right.
that he's going to take money and term,
right,
which will be considerably more than what the Leafs can offer him.
Right, right.
The question is, does he have to do this to save face within the community, the NHL, the Players Association? Why would you turn down $6 million a year or $5.5 million a year for term? Right, your family will be set for life. So wait a second. Won't my family be set for life if I stay in Toronto with my family and make $25 million? Like, come on.
But who could blame him? That's it's not like we're talking about a few bucks here. That's a significant like percentage of whole difference here. Like, I feel like...
Mike, if I told you that you would see your family 20% of the time that you're seeing them now, but you're going to make 400% as much money. You take that? You take the money over the amount of time you're going to spend with family and friends in your hometown where you with a team. You're playing for the Edmonton Oilers. Did you dream of playing for the Oilers? When you were a kid, did you say, I want to make more money than anybody? I don't care where I play. Okay? I want to go to the National Hockey League and play for whoever wants to pay me the most amount of money. No. You want to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. Now, if the money's great, even better. If the money isn't quite there, do you have other business ventures? Will you be okay making $4 million from the Leafs and $2-3 million in your other business ventures? Is that okay for you? And what about your brand in Toronto? You can have the same brand in Edmonton? Sorry, Edmonton, that's Connor McDavid's town, buddy. You're not going to walk in there and be, Zach Hyman of the Oilers. You're not going to have the same cachet in Edmonton as you do in your hometown. I'm just saying.
And I wouldn't fault this man for taking that significant bump. You only have so many.
But I tell you what else, Mike, I wouldn't fault him for a second for wanting to stay home.
But maybe he doesn't want to be here.
That's what Kawhi Leonard wanted. He just wanted to go home. Could you blame him, Mike? Oh, he's leaving the Raptors. Could you blame him? No. If Zach Hyman was from Edmonton and his family was from Edmonton, his wife was from Edmonton, and his in-laws were from Edmonton, and he was born and raised in Edmonton, and he dreamed of being an Edmonton Oiler, it's a natural. But he's not. He's a Toronto guy. Okay? You think the law firms in Edmonton go, come on, Zach, tell everybody about the personal injury lawyer. We'll pay you this much to do commercials for the personal injury lawyer, the Sokoloff lawyers. Okay? I have no inside information. I don't know the man personally. I know I know some people in his family, of circle. He's from a very tight-knit family, religious family. Like I said, his in-laws, his family, his wife, they're all from here. Man, can you just get up and walk away and say, sorry, folks, 25 million is okay, but I'm going for 40 million, 50 million. And they're going to go, that's okay, Zach. We get it. Good luck finding babysitters when you want them in Edmonton. And all that stuff. We'll come out and visit you a couple of times a year, maybe. Anyway, I'm just saying.
I hear you. I hear you.
That's me.
But this is like, if we get back to the real world here for a moment, Hebsy, like this is happening, right? Like this train is leaving the station. Hyman's
not so sure.
You're not so sure. Like, what are like?
Nobody's asked Zach Hyman what he thinks.
So where are we exactly?
I don't think he's going, I can hardly wait to go to Edmonton and sign for 8 years. I think he's like, I want to hear what the Leafs have to say.
Okay. So okay. So we know there's an offer from Edmonton for this, I don't know, $40 million package or whatever. With some,
I think it might be even more. I don't know. Yeah.
But some no movement clauses in there and some good stuff for Zach Hyman. So that offer is in place. I haven't
heard anyone actually confirm. I know there's one reporter that says it. He's a good reporter too. I haven't heard another source confirm that is the actual offer. Although it stands to reason. But there's been a lot of posturing in that. And the other thing too is the Leafs gave him permission, knowing that he had to circle back to the Leafs. Now, by the time Kyle Dubas gets to this, What does he do about some of the other free agents that he's got? Can he make room for Hyman? Does Hyman's agent, Todd Reynolds, say, listen, Zach, there's no way that Zach is going to sign for less than $4.5 million a year. There's just no way. Okay, can we get around something? I'm not saying, are Matthews and Martin are going to say, well, we'll chip in some of our salary to keep Zach here. No. But at the same time, if Zach is going, money's not an issue. Like, I don't need the money. I mean, I'm perfectly good with the 25 mil from this. I'll make enough of that money outside of this. Do I have to go? Right? What's the bottom line for me to stay in Toronto? And do I give a shit if people are going, Zach, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you take the big money? You turn down all that money to go to Edmonton. Who the fuck wants to go to Edmonton? That's all I can say. Who the fuck wants to go to Edmonton? Look at it that way. Forget about, I'll pay you this much if you go to Edmonton. You couldn't pay me that much. I'll take 25 million in Toronto, over 40 million in Edmonton, any day of the week. I don't care what the business is. Got it? Because the cost of living in Toronto isn't so much greater that it stands to reason that if he goes there, he'll be set for life anyway. Trust me, this is a smart kid. Okay? Come on, son. Come on, wife. We're going to Edmonton. No, not so fast. I could be totally wrong. He could move the whole family out there for all he could buy several properties and bring all of his in-laws. But I don't know, man. I just think he loves Toronto. He's from Toronto. Everything important is in Toronto. He'll take less money to stay in Toronto if the number is right. But it doesn't have to be $5.5 million a year. That's just.
I feel bad because for the Oilers, in a sense, only because
too. I'm very hopeful.
Here, the Oilers have the same trouble attracting free agents and players that the Raptors have in the NBA. Like, I feel like Edmonton is the NHL destination equivalent of Toronto in the NBA. Yeah, like Toronto's biggest. Sorry, go ahead.
Not that Toronto's been incredibly successful, but Edmonton sure hasn't.
No, well, not lately. Oh. But the Raptors, I will say, I think still the greatest free agent acquisition Raptors have ever made was Hedo Turkoglu. I think he's the big name. Like, still.
Yeah. So the NHL draft goes this weekend, starts tonight, and that's a day after the Seattle Kraken made their picks known in the expansion draft. First of all, I'm sick and tired of Seattle. I don't want to hear Kraken at all. Nothing about Seattle. I'm sick and fucking tired. Marshawn Lynch. Can't pronounce the guy's name, the whole thing. The names were all leaked, right? The day of the draft, everybody knew who they were taking already, right? Thanks to Frank Saravelli. Guy gets fired by TSN and says, fuck all of you. I know you got an insider with the Kraken who's giving him the names. Hey, Vezmir. So enough. I'm sick. Enough with the Kraken. Please. No more. So the draft's this weekend, and you got the free agent up till the end of July. There's going to be moves. There's going to be trades. Kyle Dubas is on the hot seat. What does he do about another goaltender? What does he do about Hyman? What does he do with, who else is there? Bogosian.
So you mentioned goaltending.
What's he do with Morgan Riley? All these guys who aren't under contract, which is which is like everybody else. What's he do about Nick Foligno? Is he interested? Joe Thornton's done.
Right.
Kerfoot. What are you doing with Kerfoot? What was that deal the other day where they wanted to protect themselves, so they traded for a guy and then left him exposed?
McCann or whatever. Yeah.
What was his name?
McCann? Was it McCann?
McCann. Okay. All right.
I don't know. Hey, anyway. You mentioned goaltending. So Dr. Hockey is just wondering, what do you think the Leafs should do with goaltending? Like, what's the plan?
They need another goalie. Besides, Jack Campbell isn't the answer by himself. You got to have another goalie. You got to have a guy that can play 30, 35 games. You need a Brian Elliott type of guy. Okay? Sort of a worldly backup goalie. Okay? You can put him in there and be confident he's going to play well. Smart guy. No problem playing, like I say, 30, 25, 30, 35 games a year. And ultimately, you want to have two good goalies. Okay? Because they proved that just having one great goalie, I mean, that's great. This year with Vasilevsky, the last couple of years, but prior to that, the goalies for the Stanley Cup winning teams were not great goal. Antti Niemi, Corey Crawford, for Chicago, guys like that, Jonathan Quick. These guys were standout, spectacular goalies for their careers, like Carey Price. So you can get away with not having the best goalie in the world. Just have a good defense. Okay.
Right.
In golf, I should mention that I'm playing crosswinds twice in the next couple of days, and I can hardly wait. I mean, it's so beautiful there, man. And my game is coming together. I always play my best at crosswinds because the conditions are always perfect. It's like a private golf course, but it's public. It's quite remarkable, and you got to check it out if you haven't before. Tell them Hebsy sent you. Go to crosswindsgolf.com. Book your tee time online now. Not easy. You got, there's not a lot of open spots there, man. People are coming to their senses. They're realizing that crosswinds is fantastic value. I might have had something to do with it, but they would have probably figured it out on their own at some particular point.
No, you deserve some credit here, buddy.
I'll take a little bit of it. Go to crosswindsgolf.com, book your tee time online, and when you get there, tell them Hebsy sent you. So the PGA Tour, so first of all, we should mention that the British Open, Mackenzie Hughes, unbelievable. Corey Connors faltered on the final day, but Mackenzie Hughes finished tied for 6th, I think, which is remarkable. Good for him. And boy, Canadian golf, the men especially, I mean, Brooke Henderson is still a star on the LPGA circuit, but just watching Corey Connors, Mackenzie Hughes, who I've been saying for a number of years is going to be fantastic. Adam Hadwin, Michael Gligich, Roger Sloan. Anyway, the 3M Open is in Minnesota. You knew that because 3M is Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing.
Yes.
That's the PGA stop this week. Ricky Fowler, 7 under par 64 for a share of the lead after the opening round. Roger Sloan. Love that name. Sloan. Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Sloan.
Yeah, sounds like a soap opera actor.
Put your hands together. He was the top Canadian with a 65. Adam Hadwin shot 67. Michael Gligich came in at 69. He's from Burlington, home of crosswinds.
Right.
And David Hearn from Brantford finished at even par 71. And the ladies are playing the Avion Championship, Les Champions d'Avion, in France. Brooke Henderson tied for 27th. Elena Sharp from Hamilton tied for 39th after 36 holes.
Is David Hearn related to Kevin Hearn?
No.
Of the Bare Naked
He's
Ladies.
Not. But you had to ask.
I don't know a lot of Hearns.
That's a good name. What are the most popular sports in the Olympics? Like what are the most anticipated events?
100 meter for sure. That's number 1, I think.
Right. Interestingly enough, they polled a bunch of Americans, several thousand of them. Axios did. And gymnastics is the most popular of the summer games, summer sports. Gymnastics of the sports.
Well, the Americans dominate
specifically
that,
the 100 meter is the marquee single event.
Right.
But as far as the category, gymnastics by a large margin, 62%. Next, swimming, 56%. Followed by diving at 51%, track and field at 49%. Maybe it's all the drugs that are being taken by those track athletes, all the dope smoking sprinters and hurdlers. I don't know. But 49%, I'm kind of surprised at that. But beyond, I guess if you take away the 100 meter and the 200 meter, the rest of the track and field is kind of boring. Like the 5,000 meters is boring. The marathon's boring. I can watch a bit of it. Do you know what I mean?
The 4 by 100 meter,
up to 400 meters.
Yeah, the 4 by 100 meter is still exciting.
Yeah, the relays are great. You're right.
Yeah.
After track and field, beach volleyball, Mike, followed by basketball, volleyball, baseball, and softball, which are new again this year.
Right.
Boxing, tennis.
Oh.
And then after that, you got archery, soccer. Yeah, Olympic soccer, not a big deal.
Well, how much of that?
Surfing.
Beach volleyball is due to the wardrobe?
Well, I don't know.
I think that's a big part. I think a lot of not just American. I think a lot of people enjoy watching it on.
Swimming is popular because you get to see nearly naked people. No,
I don't think so much swimming, but
so you think beach volleyball is because of the outfits?
I think it attracts a lot of viewers because of how the aesthetics of it.
Interesting. Okay, I'll buy that. That's fine. This year you've got new sports. Baseball and softball is new. Surfing is new.
Woo!
Karate is new.
Oh, wow.
Judo's been in the game since 1964, but karate. Right. Skateboarding is new this year, as is sport climbing. There you go. I have not watched anything. I didn't even know they were starting. I know that Canada had a soccer game. I saw a few highlights here and there. I'm not into the hours have got me all screwed up.
I'll be the official correspondent because I'm following it pretty closely.
Didn't wake up early to watch the opening ceremony. How the opening ceremony went. It makes no difference to me.
Okay, I'll be the official Hebsy on Sports Olympic correspondent. I'll watch so you don't have to.
Yeah. Let me know. Like I say, let me know when Canada is up for a medal.
Okay, I'll do that.
Up to that, I can't follow. I couldn't name the athletes. I don't know. Am I the only one that's just, I'm not into, there's others, there's so much going on.
Did you forget Penny Olasiak? I gotta say, well, let me try
In
again.
relation to Giannis Antetokounmpo?
World champion.
I know they're tough to say, man. Congrats to them, by the way, the NBA. I wasn't even thinking about that, but good on Milwaukee. I'm happy for them, happy for the city of Milwaukee.
Yep.
Really happy for Giannis, who to me has got to be the most likable athlete in the world.
And so good. Like,
the most likable athlete in the world. What a smile. What a wonderful story. Him and his brothers. He's live FaceTiming with his brothers during the celebration after the victory. I mean, it was beautiful, man. And the way he's hugging it and even dropping F-bombs. He's just so likable.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Yeah.
Mike, a year ago, if I would have told you that there would be full legalized sports betting and legislation that allows college athletes to make money off their name and likeness, you would have put me in a rubber room. But now it is part of the changing landscape of sports, and it's happening so quickly,
right,
that we don't even have a grasp of it yet, that we haven't had an opportunity to take a step back and look at the profound effect that gambling, legalized gambling, and the opportunity for athletes to make money, amateur athletes to make money, is remarkable and is going to be game-changing, landscape-changing. What's the expression? Seismic shift, the whole thing. It's huge right now. And it's going to be bigger and bigger because the result of every game now, of everything now, is going to be questioned because of the gambling aspect. You know, there are people involved in sports now who have backgrounds in gambling. There are former players that are representing gambling websites and touting people onto certain websites and games. It's a very fine line, a very gray area here when you've got people talking about the point spread, and yet they're also making money from companies that benefit off this. So I'm interested to see if there's going to be investigative reports about certain high-profile broadcasters, let's say, that could be in compromising positions, suggesting that you bet on this team or you make a bet on this game, when they might have some background, some knowledge of that. Sort of like
insider trading.
What's the thing with insider trading? Correct.
Yeah. Just
You've
like
got
that.
knowledge of something.
Yeah.
You're promoting or touting a gambling service. Gambling's legal.
Yeah.
But do you have a bet on that game? Do you have some inside information on that game? Do you know the owner there, the GM? Are there injuries that we don't know about? Right? And that's just for a straight bet on the game or with a point spread. What if there's exotic bets? What if there's a bet, and you can make a bet on anything, man? You know, what if there's a bet that you bet that you can get 22-1 that Vladdy won't get 2 hits in a game?
Right.
Right. I don't know, something like that.
It's going to get greasy.
Find out that he's hurting. He's in the lineup, but he's hurting.
It's going to get greasy, Hebsy.
Yeah, I don't like that. And so there's already, and I'm loath to mention any names. Some other outlets have very accusatory, but there's certain people to keep an eye on, high-profile former athletes on television that are also being paid by gambling sites. And of course, you have to look at the league itself. The National Football League must love this. Gambling? I mean, now people don't have to be quiet. You have to be, quiet about betting on the game. You can say, I had a bet on the game. I legally bet the game. After I legally smoked a marijuana joint, I legally bet on the game. So, now it just becomes a different ballgame. I know a lot of people that, generally speaking, are not interested in sports. They'll watch the big events, that type of thing, the playoffs. But now they're interested. They're interested in every game because you can make a bet on anything.
Shout out to Janet Jones-Gretzky.
There you go. Despite the fact that college athletes can now make money off their name, image, and likeness, Vanderbilt University's football program is headed in the other direction. There's over 90 players on the roster. Now, the strongest identifier in sports is jersey numbers, but the coach of Vanderbilt has taken the numbers away. We're going to earn everything in this program, first-year coach Clark Lee said during the spring, until we understand that we rent those numbers. We don't own them. Until we're ready to work within them, leave them better for the next person to wear them, that will come. I don't want to put a timeline on it. End quote. Look, you can't take pictures. You can't get started on designing programs. You can't do much with the athletic program's social media team when you have a squad full of players that fans can't recognize because they don't have numbers. How dumb is that?
Super dumb. And what an ass move. What an asshole move for this first
Over 100 years ago, the late, great George Orton, along with John L. Heisman of the Heisman Trophy fame, came up with the idea of numbering football players in college so that people could identify the players and go, look, there's Smith, number 42. And now this Yutz is going the other way, this coach, this putz. Okay? Hi, I'm Vanderbilt. I'm the starting quarterback. What's your name? What's your number? There is no number. So they've posted online the entire squad with no numbers next to them. Fools. This is in an era of nil. Okay? I'm only going to mention this once. I'm going to call it nil because that's what it is. NIL, name, image, likeness. Okay? Brand new legislation. Don't know if you've heard. Okay? College athletes can make money now. And already the University of Michigan has signed a deal with the M-Den, that's the school's official retail store, to sell jerseys with the names of the players on the back. The deal is set up so that each player will get the same amount of money per jersey sold, as their compensation will be quarterly, which means there's ample opportunity to cash out for a sport that's played in the fall. That's right, you're getting checks in the spring and the summer. You're only playing in the fall. Believe me, the domino effect is begun, because other schools are already following Michigan's lead to do something similar, except for Vanderbilt. They're going the other way. I'd like to be on that football team. You got a chance to make some serious money, but you don't have a number. Your coach is a putz.
Incredibly stupid move there, and it angers me to hear that story.
Incredibly stupid. Finally, Joey Vendetta officially out at the fan radio after he posted an insensitive tweet and then was literally run over by his own colleagues at Rogers. Mike, I don't know how many people at Rogers you follow. I don't know if you're aware of what happened here, but Joey made a comment about people not liking living in Canada, and they should leave if they don't like it here.
Right.
It was an insensitive tweet. There wasn't context, and because of that, Joey's show was taken off the air. But others at Rogers, recognizable on-air people at Rogers, jumped on Joey, piled on, basically said, oh, it's terrible and not acceptable. And this is a big problem that Rogers has encountered recently with regards to social media and their personalities. They're finding that some comments are being made and others are jumping in as well. And I'm not going to, let's say this particular Sportsnet personality started by saying, that's terrible, that's horrible, he should be fired, or words to that effect. And someone else at Sportsnet sees that and goes, yes. And pretty soon they're all piling on. And so what happened was Joey got taken off the air and was apparently offered his job back, but with certain terms and conditions, which he did not want to adhere to, and refused their offer. And so he's out. But this is a problem at Rogers, especially on the television side, is that everybody, and they all follow each other. And as you know, and congratulations to Tim McAuliffe for winning a Canadian Screen Award, and to Cassie Campbell as well for their work. Excellent job. But what happens is that at Sportsnet, it's like, hey, everybody congratulates Tim, which is great. They've got a nice reel of everyone. But at the same time, this is a place where if somebody there or somebody in general does something that they don't like, a bunch of them jump on. A bunch of people see that their colleagues have made a comment and they feel they have to make a comment as well. And this is what happened with Joey Vendetta. And this is something that Rogers has to stop.
Why?
They have to tell their people internally, you can't do this.
Why? I'm surprised to hear you come down on this side.
Because the piling on stuff is bullshit.
Yeah, but the one thing Sportsnet does is they let their personalities or talent, they let them tweet whatever they want. Like they can have,
you know what, man? Listen, I don't think that's just me, but I don't think it's necessary to pile on. Wait till the thing comes out. But for you to basically say to your bosses, hey, I'm going on social media and I'm denouncing Joey Vendetta. I'm not saying he should be fired, but not saying that he should be applauded either.
Is Joey a buddy of yours or something?
I think that's management's job within Sportsnet to say, we'll handle this.
Okay,
we don't need you.
Don't you want these personalities we watch on the television, listen to on radio? Don't you want them to like just be real, man? You want them to like adhere to some corporate policy where they're not allowed to say negative things about a colleague? Like that's bullshit.
That would
piss us off.
More to it than that. Social media shouldn't determine whether somebody gets fired or doesn't.
But we don't know why. We don't know what happened there.
Whatever the case is, you know that.
But Vendetta,
I'm just telling you, Mike, what I know.
I know
this is a problem within Rogers Sportsnet.
Can you name some names at least? Like who?
No.
But if these were public tweets,
I'm just telling you that this is a problem. And if you go back and look at some of the timelines, if you really want to, you'll see. And it'll be many of the same people at Sportsnet all chiming in. One does, and then the others do.
Okay.
Right? One makes a great comment, and the others go, great comment.
I like knowing.
One says, that sucks, and the others go, you're right, that sucks.
Well, that tweet did suck. Like, that tweet did suck.
I agree.
It was so tone deaf.
I'm not sure that Sportsnet on-air people should be judge, jury, and executioner, and I'm not the only one.
Okay, but
so when it was brought to light that this was happening, and I did do some research, I went, wow, it's true. There's a lot of this. They thank each other, they pump each other up, and they get together if they feel that something's gone wrong or something is distasteful. Anyway, by the way, Baseball Central will be moving from 5 to 7 p.m. for the next 3 weeks on the Fan. I'm guessing there's some holiday time coming for Tim and friends, and they'll fill that gap with Baseball Central, with all the Blue Jays talk and everything like that, leading into the Blue Jays broadcasts. And then we'll see in September what the Fan sounds like and if there's going to be any dedicated radio broadcasts, because that's another thing.
Well, what do you think? Do you think it doesn't look like it?
I don't know, man.
They don't care about radio.
Can you do that? Can you say, okay, we're going to have a dedicated radio broadcast just in September?
Well, they can. Of course, they can do that. They can do whatever they want.
Will they? I'd be surprised. Okay, that's it for episode number 242 of Hebsy on Sports. Thanks to Toronto Mike for production and inspiration. Hit him up at Toronto Mike. And big thanks as well to our sponsors, crosswingsgolf.com and manscaped.com. Don't forget, let me wet my whistle by using the promo code Hebsy at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. Your balls will thank you. Thanks for allowing us into your headspace. Back with another episode next week. Till then, so long for now. This podcast has been produced by TMDS and accelerated by Roam Phone. Roam Phone brings you the most reliable virtual phone service to run your business and protect your home number from unwanted calls. Visit roamphone.ca to get started.
All right, Hebsy, let me turn off the cameras here.
I got to fly.
And
how was that? Was that good?